All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the show. I know that you've seen Mr. Trump's picture on there, and the title is Donald Trump Solidified Everything That We Stated About Him. And, of course, you had many people who support Donald Trump and love him to death and, said Donald Trump was not a racist. He just different. People say they voted for him, not because of race. They voted for him because of jobs and so on and so on. So Donald Trump's been in office, about a good 7 months or so. It feels like he's been in there 4 years, but it's about 7 months. And Donald Trump has done just about everything you could think of to embarrass himself, his family, and embarrass the country before the world. Everyday world leaders are looking at him like he's crazy. They don't really want to talk to him too much, because you got a 71-year-old man, a senior citizen, stuck in his ways, and you can't tell him nothing. He don't want to listen. He want to do what the hell he want to do. Now, of course, we know the other day they had the Charlottesville terrorist act that happened. Of course, Donald Trump didn't disavow it at the time. He tried to say it was things on both sides, but both sides didn't drive a car into people and kill someone. That didn't happen. So he had a press conference the other day, and I don't know if you guys saw it, and we want to play the entire press conference so you guys can hear what he stated at the time period. And after that, we will break down a few things he stated and also play some other clips that Donald Trump himself maybe need to pay attention to. So if you have not seen that press conference, we're going to go ahead and play that press conference now.
Benefit.
Let me ask you why did you wait so long last week?
I didn't wait long. I didn't wait long. I didn't wait long. I wanted to make sure, unlike most politicians, that what I said was correct, not make a quick statement. The statement I made on Saturday, the first statement, was a fine statement, but you don't make statements that direct unless you know the fact. It takes a little while to get the facts. You still don't know the facts. And it's a very, very important process to me. And it's a very important statement. So I don't want to go quickly and just make a statement for the sake of making a political statement. I want to know the facts. If you go back to in fact, I brought it.
Who did you bring, Mr. President?
As I said on, remember this, Saturday, we condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. And then I went on from there. Now, here's the thing. Excuse me. Take it nice and easy. Here's the thing. When I make a statement, I like to be correct. I want the facts. This event just happened. In fact, a lot of the event didn't even happen yet as we were speaking. This event just happened. Before I make a statement, I need the facts. So I don't want to rush into a statement. So making the statement when I made it was excellent. In fact, the young woman, who I hear is a fantastic young woman, and it was on NBC, her mother wrote me and said, through, I guess, Twitter, social media, the nicest things, and I very much appreciated that. I hear she was a fine, really actually an incredible young woman. But her mother on Twitter thanked me for what I said. And honestly, if the press were not fake, and if it was honest, the press would have said what I said was very nice. But unlike you and unlike the media, before I make a statement, I like to know the facts. They don't. How about a couple of infrastructure questions?
Was that terrorism?
Say it. What?
The CEO of Walmart said you missed a critical opportunity to help bring the country together. Did you?
Not at all. I think the country, look, you take a look. I've created over 1 million jobs since I'm president. The country is booming. The stock market is setting records. We have the highest employment numbers we've ever had in the history of our country. We're doing record business. We have the highest levels of enthusiasm. So the head of Walmart, who I know, who's a very nice guy, was making a political statement. I mean, ask him how he's doing. I do it the same way, and you know why? Because I want to make sure, when I make a statement, that the statement is correct. And there was no way of making a correct statement that early. I had to see the facts, unlike a lot of reporters. I didn't know David Duke was there. I wanted to see the facts. And the facts, as they started coming out, were very well stated. In fact, everybody said his statement was beautiful. If he would have made it sooner, that would have been good. I couldn't have made it sooner because I didn't know all of the facts. Frankly, people still don't know all of the facts. It was very important, excuse me. It was very important to me to get the facts out and correctly. Because if I would have made a fast statement, and the first statement was made without knowing much other than what we were seeing. The second statement was made after, with knowledge, with great knowledge. There's still things, there's still things that people don't know. I want to make a statement with knowledge. I wanted to know the facts. Okay.
Was this two questions. Was this terrorism? And can you tell us how you're feeling about your chief strategist?
Well, I think the driver of the car is a disgrace to himself, his family, and this country. And that is, you can call it terrorism. You can call it murder. You can call it whatever you want. I would just call it as the fastest one to come up with a good verdict. That's what I'd call it. Because there is a question. Is it murder? Is it terrorism? And then you get into legal semantics. The driver of the car is a murderer. And what he did was a horrible, horrible, inexcusable thing.
Can you tell us how you're feeling about your chief strategist, Mr. Bannon? Can you talk about that?
I would echo Maggie's question. Steve Bannon is.
I never spoke to Mr. Bannon about it.
Can you tell us broadly what do you still have confidence in
Well, we'll
Steve?
see. And look. I like Mr. Bannon. He's a friend of mine. But Mr. Bannon came on very late. You know that. I went through 17 senators, governors, and I won all the primaries. Mr. Bannon came on very much later than that. And I like him. He's a good man. He is not a racist, I can tell you that. He's a good person. He actually gets a very unfair press in that regard. He's a good person, and I think the press treats him, frankly, very unfairly.
Do you have confidence that Senator McCain has called on you to defend your National Security Advisor, H.R. McMaster, against
I've
some of
already
these
done
attacks?
it. I did it the last time.
And he called on it again, linking this
Senator
to
McCain?
the alt-right. And
Senator
saying,
McCain, you mean the one who voted against Obamacare?
And he said
Who
that
is Senator? You mean Senator McCain who voted against us getting good health care?
McCain said that the alt-right is behind these attacks, and he linked that same group to those who perpetrated the attack in Charlottesville.
Well, I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm sure Senator McCain must know what he's talking about. But when you say the alt-right, define alt-right to me. You define it. Go ahead.
Well, I'm saying that
define it for me. Come on, let's go. Define
Senator
it.
McCain defined them as the same group.
Okay, what about the alt-left that came charging at it? Excuse me. What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt?
This is Senator McCain's statement.
Let me ask you this. What about the fact they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do. So, as far as I'm concerned, that was a horrible, horrible day. Wait a minute. I'm not finished. I'm not finished, fake news. That was a horrible day. I will tell you something. I watched those very closely, much more closely than you people watched it. And you have, you had a group on one side that was bad, and you had a group on the other side that was also very violent. And nobody wants to say that, but I'll say it right now. You had a group on the other side that came charging in without a permit, and they were very, very violent. Go ahead.
Do you think that what you call the alt-left is the same as neo-Nazis?
Those people, all of those people, excuse me, I've condemned neo-Nazis. I've condemned many different groups, but not all of those people were neo-Nazis, believe me. Not all of those people were white supremacists by any stretch. Those people were also there because they wanted to protest the taking down of a statue, Robert E. Lee. So, excuse me, and you take a look at some of the groups and you see, and you know it if you were honest reporters, which in many cases you're not, but many of those people were there to protest the taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee. So, This week it's Robert E. Lee. I noticed that Stonewall Jackson's coming down. I wonder, is it George Washington next week? And is it Thomas Jefferson the week after? You know, you really do have to ask yourself, where does it stop? But they were there to protest, excuse me. You take a look the night before, they were there to protest the taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee. Infrastructure question, go ahead.
Should statues of Robert E. Lee stay up?
I would say that's up to a local town, community, or the federal government, depending on where it is located.
Are you against the Confederacy?
About race relations in America, and do you think things have gotten worse or better since you took office?
I think they've gotten better or the same. Look, they've been frayed for a long time, and you can ask President Obama about that because he'd make speeches about it. But I believe that the fact that I brought in, it will be soon, millions of jobs, you see where companies are moving back into our country, I think that's going to have a tremendous positive impact on race relations. We have companies coming back into our country. We have 2 car companies that just announced. We have Foxconn in Wisconsin just announced. We have many companies, I say, pouring back into the country. I think that's going to have a huge positive impact on race relations. You know why? It's jobs. What people want now, they want jobs. They want great jobs with good pay. And when they have that, you watch how race relations will be. And I'll tell you, we're spending a lot of money on the inner cities. We're fixing the inner cities. We're doing far more than anybody's done with respect to the inner cities. It's a priority for me, and it's very important.
Mr. President, are you putting what you're calling the alt-left and white supremacists on the same moral plane?
I'm not putting anybody on a moral plane. What I'm saying is this. You had a group on one side and you had a group on the other, and they came at each other with clubs, and it was vicious, and it was horrible, and it was a horrible thing to watch. But there is another side. There was a group on this side, you can call them the left, you've just called them the left, that came violently attacking the other group. So you can say what you want, but that's the way it is.
On both sides, sir? You said there was hatred, there was violence on both sides.
Well, I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides. You look at both sides. I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either. And if you reported it accurately, you would say.
Kill the person. Heather hired
Charlottesville. They showed up in Charlottesville
Excuse me.
to protest.
Excuse me. They didn't put themselves down as you, and you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group. Excuse me. I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue, and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. No, George Washington was a slave owner. Was George Washington a slave owner? So will George Washington now lose his status? Are we going to take down, excuse me, are we going to take down statues to George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him? Okay, good. Are we going to take down the statue? Because he was a major slave owner. Now we're going to take down his statue. So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits, and with the helmets, and with the baseball bats. You had a lot of bad people in the other group too.
Treated unfairly, sir. I'm sorry. I just didn't understand what you were saying. You were saying the press has treated white nationalists unfairly.
No,
I just didn't understand what you were saying.
No. There were people in that rally, and I looked the night before. If you look, there were people protesting very quietly the taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee. I'm sure in that group there were some bad ones. The following day, it looked like they had some rough, bad people, neo-Nazis, white nationalists, whatever you want to call them. But you had a lot of people in that group that were there to innocently protest, and very legally protest, because, you know, I don't know if you know, they had a permit. The other group didn't have a permit. So I only tell you this. There are two sides to a story. I thought what took place was a horrible moment for our country, a horrible moment. But there are two sides to the country. Does anybody have a final? Does anybody have? You have an infrastructure.
What makes you think you can get an infrastructure bill? You didn't get health care.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, we came very close with health care. Unfortunately, John McCain decided to vote against it at the last minute. You'll have to ask John McCain why he did that. But we came very close to health care. We will end up getting health care, but we'll get the infrastructure. And actually, infrastructure is something that I think will have bipartisan support on. I actually think Democrats will go along with the infrastructure.
President, have you spoken to the family? Have you spoken to the family of the victim of the car attack?
No, I'll be reaching out. When
will you be reaching out?
I was I thought that the statement put out, the mother's statement, I thought was a beautiful statement. I was telling you, it was something that I really appreciated. I thought it was terrific, and really under the kind of stress that she's under and the heartache that she's under, I thought putting out that statement to me was really something I won't forget. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Do you plan to go to Charlottesville, Mr. President?
Do you think you're helping to heal the nation?
I own a house in Charlottesville.
Will you go to?
Does anyone know I own a house in Charlottesville?
Where is it?
Oh.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Donald Trump. That was Donald Trump. And that is the president of the United States. Remember, who voted for him? It wasn't me. It wasn't the majority of you. We already know who is responsible for Donald Trump. We know. And a lot of those who voted for Donald Trump live with a lot of regret right now. There are people that are lamenting at having this man be the representative of the United States of America. This man, as you heard, and I'll go through all the things that he really said in this press conference. He don't really know what he's saying, but he just off the cuff with everything that he's saying. And with that, he's just exposing himself and who his allegiance lies with. And the whole world saw that, as we stated before we started the stream. Now, before we kind of break down a few things with Donald Trump, and we're going to add another clip in the middle of me talking about that, I want to talk about something that we really have to, unfortunately, bring up right now. Back in March, remember, those of you who knew, and I'll explain it, what happened back in March. March, Wall Street Journal thing happened to YouTube, hit content creators, 90% revenue drop for most people, including us. We have people employed to help me do the show. And in the middle of all of that, we made an appeal, and we tried to get at least a minimum of 3,000 people to help us keep the show going. At the end of all that, I learned a few things. Some things I made some changes on due to some recommendations of people. And we are selling shirts now for the people that want to purchase shirts because they maybe want something in return. Or, you know, we offering also exclusive videos. We always looking to do new things to make the show better. So initially, unfortunately, we got to the point where we had stopped making videos publicly for about 7 days. A lot of people was bothered by that. Not my problem if you're bothered by that, because you wouldn't follow the show anyway. And there are people, I'm not using no race, people who are supporting the show now. And where we at with it, we need to get the full 3,000 people that we need, because what happened out of that, because we didn't get the full 3,000, one person that was helping me for years do things, we could no longer afford to pay them. That really hurt me. It hurt me because I had to pick up the slack instead of focusing on the videos and other things that we need to focus on here to bring the news and information to you. We'll show you a few things on the screen to get the point across. On this first one is what happens in on YouTube now. You see that icon. The moment you upload a video now, that icon means limited or no ads. So you can have whatever views you want, but you're going to get limited or no ads. You have to have a review on the videos now. And until that come in, then you have a full monetization. They did all this because of the Wall Street Journal and ISIS and hate speech and all this other stuff. So on top of that, we did a live stream on Saturday, I think Saturday morning or Sunday morning. And this live stream, last time I checked, had 77,000 views. The moment we uploaded, no monetization. I sat there an hour and a half trying to put clips together for it to tell a story. And we can't get no revenue on it at all. So that's happening. Posted another story right after that, and the same thing. We couldn't get no revenue on that as well. So what I'm saying is, and this is where the people is at as well, because they know the frustration, they know the pitfalls, they know everything that's going on. I tell the people on Patreon this, and this is the position they're in too. They're saying, and I have to speak up now, hey, you need to make an appeal because it's not fair that only they support and others are enjoying all the time. Now, and originally I said $5, but we did it different. We said $2 or even $5, whatever one you would like to pick, we'll be appreciative of that. But $2 is a minimum, and I think people, I say people, we're not pointing no color, because I have people of all groups who are supporting us on Patreon, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Arab. We have all people, and that's why I'm making an appeal to. If you think this platform is giving you news and information, if it is helping you to change to see things, some of you say that you opened your eyes to America due to this platform. Well, what we're asking you is to join us there on Patreon for a minimum of $2, if that's all you can do, or $5. We will greatly appreciate it, but we need to get up to our 3,000 mark so we can get people, because I need help. As you can see earlier, some of you were saying, well, Phil needs help. You're right, I need help, but it costs funds. I have to pay people to help us do things. And this is not a one-man army for everything. If you want us to go get certain stories, it's going to cost funds for us to pay people, to send them, to have equipment. It costs funds. It really do. And I just want to focus on putting up the stories, doing the live streams, doing everything for you guys. That's all I want to focus on. I don't like to focus on funds and funding. I hate that sort of thing. I really do. But unfortunately, it's things that we have to do. And, you know, people that are supporting saying, look, give them a time. And if they don't want to give a time, then do what you did before. I don't want to be doing that. I don't like that. I just feel that, okay, if we have at least 1,500 people out of over 600,000 people that are subscribed, at least 1,500 people that can say, you know what, I value this platform enough. I get enough information enough from this platform to willing to donate $2 per month or $5 per month. I feel we do have those people here. And in this time period, as you heard with Mr. Trump, we need to have our own narratives, our own things that we need to say and put out there. Sister Shayla May has put up the Patreon link. Is also in the what's that thing called, description box as well. Go to it. We need to get to 3,000. That's where we at with it. I don't want to take that other option that the other sister was telling me to take, because I can't. I have to do it because I can't piss off the people that's supporting, because you have around close to 1,500 people supporting the show, because YouTube has cut your revenue by 90%. They have. So they're supporting it, and I can't piss them off. So I have to make the appeal to get it completed, because they don't think it's fair for them to do it and then everybody else just enjoying. So that's the only thing that I'm saying. I'm going to be making an appeal in every single video for sure for the next 30 days. You'll get tired of hearing it. I'll shut up with it when we get to the 1,500. I mean, the 3,000. I'll be quiet. I'll be fine. And then we can just keep on focusing on the material. Let's get the live streams going. Let's get the news and information out. That's all I want to do. I don't want to focus on all that, but I have to talk about that. So I'm asking everyone who enjoyed the platform to go over. Sister Shayla May has put it up a few times over there. on Patreon. Let's get us up to 3,000. I know we can do it. There's great people here watching. If you're new, thank you for subscribing, and help us out if you can with that as well. If we are your place for news and information, some people are going to have, well, there's so many of y'all. Look, I support 8 people on my own. Okay. You could spread out a certain amount at $2 a piece if you would like to. You could support 10 people off of $20 if you wanted to, based off of $2 a piece. So that's the only thing I'm saying. Just consider us as the place that you get your news and information. And the more you guys support me, the more I'm going to do. I told you guys that before. When I know I got the backing, I'm there. I'm going to keep pumping out the thing because it helps me to keep going. No, I don't have to worry about what YouTube doing. I know the people got me. And when the people got you, you're free. We don't want to be at the bondage of YouTube and what they're doing. So please help us out on that. Like I said, we showed you what's going on. It's a serious situation. Now let's get back to talk about Mr. Trump here. Donald Trump. Now, if you listen to that, Donald Trump used just about every white nationalist talking point, and we'll get to that. But now, when you're talking about this car situation, if that man, any goes, thank you for joining. Sister Sci-Fi, what's going on, sister? If that man was Islamic, he would have been calling that situation with the car radical Islamic terrorism. But because the suspect is a Caucasian like himself, he don't want to even acknowledge that is a terrorist act that happened to those people. Just in the UK, he was so quick to call it terrorism when they did the exact same thing over there. But when it's done here by a Caucasian male, he says nothing. We have to realize that this man has exposed himself as a Nazi sympathizer, a white supremacist sympathizer. He supports racists. They are happy with this press conference. They are so happy because they feel they have someone to back them up. Now, the first press conference, David Duke checked Donald Trump on Twitter and told him, Mr. President, you better realize we the one put you in office. And after that, that's when you had this press conference. So David Duke is running Donald Trump, obviously. David Duke got that much stroke. A guy he say he didn't know, but all of a sudden he could tweet you, and all of a sudden now you're getting up doing this crap. Donald Trump said that he based things on facts. When? You've never based anything on facts, man. You say everything but a fact. You don't wait for anything. You just talk. Now, when it comes to white nationalists and white supremacists, now you want to wait for facts. Isn't that great? Then he called the people, so-called people that were marching on the college campus, good people who were saying you will not replace us, who was saying the words Jews will not replace us, who was screaming white lives matter, who was fighting other white people for standing up against their racism and bigotry. Those were the good people. Oh, remember, and they had a permit, which they rejected their permit toward the end because they saw what they were about to do. Okay, that was a good people. Donald Trump had CEOs bailed on him. One brother from Merck bailed on him first on his council with CEOs. He immediately attacked the brother, immediately on Twitter. Then you had the CEO of Under Armour say, wait a minute. After he heard that speech, he said, oh, whoa, I can't be a part of this. He said that we are a company of innovation in sports. We don't have nothing to do with that. Intel, another one, said, wait a minute. We don't want nothing to do with that. All those CEOs will start backing off of Trump. Today, Trump disbanded the CEO council. Oh, why? Because he rather take his stand with white nationalists instead of supposedly trying to put you back to work. Because those CEOs can help people get jobs. But those CEOs are in it to make money. You can't be attached to racism and white nationalism with your company. You don't even want that even element around you. So I know that's why they had to bail on him. I mean, those people they got him by the balls, the white nationalists. It's like he served them. If you worshiping Vladimir Putin, you know you part of some white nationalist clan. Now, Barack Obama couldn't do anything like that. He couldn't. Imagine if Barack Obama, because America hates Minister Louis Farrakhan, worshipped everything that Minister Louis Farrakhan done. Say how great a guy he was and always talking about him and defending him and doing. Oh boy, they ever tried to impeach him for talking about Minister Farrakhan. Minister Farrakhan have never went out there and did anything like these white nationalist terrorists. He's never had the nation do anything to attack anybody. But they'll try to get rid of him if he was doing that. Remember when Barack Obama was running, they did what they call a Farrakhan test. They always want you to denounce the minister. Denounce him for what? What did he do? He didn't do anything. Just because they hate Minister Louis Farrakhan. So Barack Obama had denounced his own pastor that he had for 20 years for these people. That's why you never denounce nobody you know for nobody. Forget that. If they didn't do anything wrong, why am I denounce you for? But that's him in his situation. Now, Donald Trump, that white nationalist talking point when it comes to the Confederate statues. He said that George Washington was a slave owner. Yes, he was. Thomas Jefferson. Yes, he was. He said, should we take them down? You know, I thought about that for a minute. I said, I said, that's a good point. Maybe we should. I don't know. Now, you can't compare Robert E. Lee to George Washington. They wasn't the same. But this idiot is comparing things that's off a false equivalent because George Washington didn't fight for slavery to stay alive. He didn't do that. Yes, he had slaves, but he didn't fight for that reason. The whole country didn't go to war because Thomas Jefferson wanted to keep slavery. That's not what happened. But yet he wants to preserve the Confederacy. This is my thing about the Confederacy. Yes, it's part of history. You will never remove that. But why is it? Where's our monument to the Trail of Tears? Where's those monuments for that all over the country? Where's the monument for all of the deaths of slavery? You want to sit up there and worship slaves. Back that up. I wish you would worship some slaves. You want to worship Confederate devils that had slaves because you were lazy as hell. You didn't want to go out there and work for yourselves and build this country on your own. But that's who you want to worship. And some statues is what you hold dear. Notice he said that you want to change the culture. Everything that the white nationalists say, that's what that man said. The culture, our culture. Their culture they're talking about is terrorism, oppression, slavery, rape, ungodliness. That's the culture they want to defend and hold dear. Isn't that sad that all the things that you could point that Caucasians have done that has been good, they don't want to fight to hold on to that. They don't want to fight to hold on to some of the things that abolitionists have done. They don't want to fight to hold on maybe some inventions or medicine or something that's been good to the world. No, they want to hold on to that. That's what they want to hold on to. Now, this has become an extremely dangerous thing, not only for black people, because you have seen over the weekend, if you are a white person that's listening right now, your life is in danger if you are not racist. And they have proved that over the weekend that if you are non-racist, they will do the same thing to you as they would do to a black person, Hispanic, or whoever else. So no more of the days of you being comfortable either. These white nationalists want to harm and kill people. They are terrorists. Now, this is also a fight that the Caucasian community going to have to deal with. We can't be the lead of that due to the racism, because you have police officers that are white nationalists as well. And they're looking for us to go out there so they can go attack us. That's what they're looking for. So due to that racism, it has to be the Caucasian community taking the lead to deal with their own. It has to be. They've shown us when we step out there what they'll do to us and how they back that up. I know some young black people, unfortunately, as I stated before, you have a lot of youth, a lot of zeal. You have a revolutionary spirit, and I thank God for that. But a lot of you don't have wisdom. If you had wisdom, you don't get involved with them Antifa people, because some of you get involved with them too. And what I saw, and I did a news story on this and I posted later, that black brother, they got beat up by those white nationalists over the weekend in Charlottesville. He was in it with Antifa. And when they were beating him up, Antifa was nowhere around when them white nationalists was working him over. And I was shaking my head once I really got to see that he was part of Antifa. I said, there's no movement for us to be a part of. Stay yourself at home. But y'all young folks don't listen. You'll get what you deserve going out there. I told you that I don't know how many times. Stay yourself at home. Let Brad and let Becca go deal with them. Because they're not gonna approach them like they will approach you. Yes, I know they was attacking their own, but let them do it. Let them deal with that. They let them duke it out in the street. They will. But the moment we show up, all hell breaks loose. And you know that. So don't say you wasn't warned. Now, the situation with Donald Trump, he's defending white nationalists. But true white nationalists have a problem with him. What is the problem that they really have with him? The true white nationalist? Let's think about it for a minute. A true white nationalist don't like Donald Trump's daughter being with a Jewish man. That's first and foremost. Second thing, that this man stated that Donald Trump was racist. He's admitting Donald Trump is racist. He's want somebody more racist than Donald Trump. So white nationalists will tell you now, yes, I heard about that guy. He's crying because they're looking for him now. Oh, he crying. He crying crocodile tears. And trust me, I'm going to do that video. Just let me get a hold to it. I saw it and I'm going to laugh. Oh, I'm going to laugh at that guy. Thank you, Travis Ernest, for joining us on Patreon just now. So, boy, I tell you, we are having. Oh, there we go. All right, so here we go, guys. We want to let me set this up. I think I've talked enough today. Let's go ahead on and we will get some calls going. I want to know your opinions. I'll give you the number here in a second once it gets started. Just let me call in and then we'll. Oh, the last time we had the call-ins, that sister that called from what was on from Mississippi? Boy, that sister was the truth. I gotta chop that up and put her thing back on there. But I don't know if you remember that sister.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host pin. When finished, press the pound key. To start your show now, press 1. To hear. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Blog Talk Radio.
we should be on the air there. Let's go ahead and put up the. Is this it? No, that's ain't it. Let's get Trump off of here. We don't need him. Which one is it? Is it this one? There we go, guys. That's the call-in number. You can call in, and of course, we're talking about Donald Trump, white nationalism. What you think about your president supporting that? And are you going to register to vote? Are you going to run for office locally? Or maybe you want to run for the president? What is it that you want to do? We'll take calls. The number up is on the screen. And make sure when you call in on the number, make sure you press the number 1. And once you press the number 1, we'll see the cue that says that you want to call in. If you do not press the number 1 and I don't see the cue that you want to call in and speak, then I'm not going to answer your call. I'm going to move past the next one. Let's try to keep these calls on topic, on subject. And then we got the first one calling now. Area code 647, you on the show.
Hello?
Yes, you on the show.
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Hey, Bill, how you doing? All the way out to Toronto, man.
How you doing? What's on your mind?
I've been listening to your show for a long time. And I just wanted to ask some questions because I'm up in Canada and we got Trudeau up in the house. I want to know what it would take to get Donald Trump impeached. Because there's so much evidence of him being a racist and having so much KKK members following him and so much white people in the far right following him. So what would it take to get him impeached?
Well, it would actually, we have to wait, of course, with the investigator that's investigating him right now, Robert Mueller, to see what comes back with that situation. And that's really the only legal thing you can possibly do if he has some sort of collusion with Russia, because it's not against the law to be a racist. Unfortunately, it's not. I wish it was against the law, but it's not. So, you know, they voted him in, not me. They voted him in, so hopefully he comes back with something. And if the Republicans will bail on him enough to impeach him, because really I don't think they will, but we will see. But Donald Trump is a national embarrassment in this country.
I have one more question. I just have one question. Let's have one more question. What are your thoughts on black people going back to Africa? With all this talk and all this discussions and debates and all that, what do you think about black people just going home? Just forgetting about all this and letting just be by themselves and being their racist selves, and we just leave and just be balling back home in Africa. What do you think about that?
Well, it's the same thoughts. How would you feel about Caucasians going back to Europe?
Oh, exactly. They should be going home too.
Well, the only thing I'm saying is because black people built this country. So why in the hell should we build?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, exactly. 246 years of free labor. Why should we just give it up and say, no, that's it. We can go freely if we want to. That's on our own. And I believe in having a connection to Africa, and we all connected through the diaspora. But we shouldn't just build, you know, if we don't choose to. When our ancestors built this country, fought in every war in this country. Hell no. No.
So we should just get a send off, you're saying. We should get reparations, and then that's okay.
What about reparations?
We haven't gotten anything yet. We haven't received any reparations.
Do you live in Canada?
What if we got reparations and then a send off?
You live in Canada?
Yeah, Toronto.
Toronto, okay. Well, I like I said, I don't know how it is up there, but you know, right now I'm not even focusing on that. I'll just focus on the day at hand. But like I said, I thank you for calling. I appreciate it, man. Let's go to the next caller here. Area code 586, you on the show.
Fat nigger.
Oh boy, that's one of the recessive cave beasts. All right. Area code 302, you on the show. .302, you on the show. All right, let's see here. Wasn't that funny just now that the cave beast had to call in? Area code 760, you on the show.
Hey, Philip, I just want to thank you for everything you do, man, and I just wanted to give you props. And first off, but man, I don't see anything that I'm doing as a surprise to me, because if you do your research, you would know that he was a pure racist from the beginning. With his properties, not letting African Americans rent from his properties. So there's not nothing that's like a surprise to me. It's just it's like everybody else is walking around in America with a veil on. They rather not see the truth instead of dealing with, you know what I'm saying, dealing with bullshit.
Right. I agree with you 100% on that. Unfortunately, especially some of us as black people, we love to put our head in the sand and think we can avoid what we're dealing with, and we're not in that time period. We're gonna have to realize what we're doing, and we're gonna have to get together, unify to protect ourselves, because these white nationalists are serious. They want to harm and kill people, and they'll kill their own, as we can see over the weekend.
Definitely, I agree 100%. It's a trip that, you know what I'm saying, it took this to open up people's eyes. You know what I'm saying? Grab them by the pussy wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? Him being a slumlord, not wanting people to rent to him, you know, not wanting to rent to African Americans. Just his whole track record. How do you own a casino but it don't make money? That's crazy. And you think this man should manage the country? That is just crazy to me that wasn't enough. But this is finally starting to open people's eyes.
Yeah, but because most time people don't care until it happens to them. And that's what really happened over the weekend. Exactly. We've been screaming for the longest. You probably been saying it. I've been saying it. This guy racist. He's in, look at his rallies. Look who's showing up. Oh, no. Trump's not a racist. Oh, yeah, he say horrible stuff, but he's not a racist. And I voted for him for jobs. So basically, you know good and well he probably was racist in your mind, but you don't care about that. You voted for jobs. So now a white person lost their life behind the racism of Trump. Now what? Now you want something done?
It's a problem.
Exactly. It's like Malcolm said, the chicken's coming home to roost. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you for calling, man.
I
appreciate you.
You keep doing what you're doing, man.
I appreciate you. All right. Eric Code 314, you on the show.
What's going on, Phil, bro?
What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm living. What's on your mind about Donald Trump?
Yeah, I just call, give you shout outs, man. I appreciate what you're doing. You know what I'm saying, for the black community. I just want to let everybody know, keep your eyes wide open on these upcoming rallies that they got going on. I know it's one coming up in Huntington Beach, California. So anybody around that area, kind of be careful. I know they had one planned for Texas A&M on September the 11th. So also be aware of that too.
Oh, they canceled that one, but let me tell you about College Station. See, notice having these rallies not in a heavily populated area where where a lot of blacks or Hispanics are at. Like, because College Station is a lily white area. Trust me, I went there a few times when I was going for industrial firefighting training. They have at A&M they have the Brayton Fire Field, and it's pretty intense, situation. I had a lot of fun doing that. But anyway, so College Station is just nothing but Caucasian. So black people are in Bryan. That's where they at, like a few miles down the road. So Huntington Beach, that's not a lot of black folks either, right?
It's not heavy, but I know it's some out there.
Yeah, like they're not going to have nothing in South Central L.A., They're not gonna do that.
No, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, Long Beach. Anyway, they know better.
Exactly.
I mean, if they really thugs and they about their life, why don't they go do that? If you think about it, if they really about their life, why don't they go do it?
You know how they are. They like to hide behind a mask. And hide behind the law enforcement. They've been doing this forever. It's nothing new. Everything that's happening is nothing new. It's just, this generation, they got to, like you said, just because Becky and Bob, say you think they're cool, but underneath they're not.
Yeah, we all know that, man. We all know that. They're the type of dudes, they ain't got a gun. You slap them in the face, they'll cry. So we know that, man. But anyway, bro, thanks for calling.
Like I said, I ain't going to hold you long, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
All
right. So if you're out there living in Huntington Beach, California, in that area, make sure y'all squad up if they come out there. That's the only thing I can tell you. Area code 706, you on the show.
How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing good. What part of the country you calling from?
I'm calling from Georgia, Phil. This is Bruce from Thomaston, Georgia.
All right. Well, what's on your mind about your president?
Well, as far as my concern, he's not my president. I look at it like this. I know he's been a racist from the first time I heard him, and he's not one to flip. I'm just gonna say it like he ain't shit. That's the way I feel about him.
Well, that's the best way to sum it up.
I can tell you, feel that as black people, I appreciate what you do, and I'm a member of Patreon now. I appreciate what you do for the black people at the community. I'll be honest with you, I'm from Georgia, from Thompson, Georgia. It's down here, it's racist down here in Thompson. And you got some of the black folks here stuck in the old time ways. And really, I'm just trying to do the best I can do. But,
Yeah, well, brother, I appreciate you
I
joining.
appreciate what you do.
Well, I appreciate you, helping us to continue by joining us on Patreon, because, like I said, any help that we can get counts. Cause like I said, we trying to do more and grow, brother, and it takes finance to do that.
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate you for supporting, and we will keep trying to put out the news and commentary for you, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Phil. I've tried to support you. Maybe you should work for President, Phil. I feel like you'd be a good brother.
Oh boy, I don't know if they want me to be president. They'll be trying to kill me. He support the show. I mean, people are really making a difference in the world. I like to hear that. Erico 516, you on the show?
Hey there, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, how's it going, Phil? I'm calling from New York City.
NYC, what's up, man?
Listen, I'm a young cat. I'm only 22, and I was watching your channel for a while, but I just recently joined your Patreon today, because I feel like after the events that happened, it really pushed forward. Like, okay, like if ain't nothing done behind the scenes, and we don't come together and talk about this type of stuff and support each other, then
thank you very
never
much,
grow.
brother. Well, first of all, thank you very much for supporting us on Patreon. That means the world to us, because like I said, it takes finance, unfortunately, to do what we do. I wish it was just simple, but I appreciate you doing your part.
I understand. There's certain things you talk about that just really, like, I never thought about, really eye-opening, like when you were talking about the beauty industry and how it's not run by black, women, but yet so many of the money is coming out of black women's pocket, but yet they don't have representation. That's when I really started to open my eyes. But to get back to your to the discussion, the thing that really hurts me is like just take care now.
All right, the people listening on Blog Talk Radio, just give me a second. Let's see if we can get this stream back going. Okay, they say the stream has resumed, so look like the stream has resumed, ladies and gentlemen. Look like it says it has resumed. All right, so we gonna continue and keep going if the stream has.
Our people keep saying, "Oh, I'm so shocked and I'm surprised." He's being who he is,
right?
And he hasn't hidden himself from the time he was doing the before he even started the election. Back when he was okay,
right?
And a lot of people don't research anything. He took here recently, since he's been president, he took a picture with two people in KKK hoods, the whole get up. He's standing in the middle, hugging both of them, and they hurried up and took the feet down. Okay, and he is who he is, and even the Bible tells that the white people are devils. And I'm not saying all white people are bad. I'm not saying all of them have the same mindset that this man has. Because that's who they are.
Right.
But
well,
thank you for allowing me on your show.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, guys. This is what we may have to do. Sister Shayla May, I see it. It's going on and off and on, off and on. So somebody told me to look into Twitch. They say they stream a little bit better on Twitch. I may look into that. But let's go ahead and stop the stream. It's been an hour already. And I'll work on editing some videos. Maybe you can catch it on the playback. But I'll probably try to come with another stream maybe tomorrow or so. Because we need to talk about some